All right, well, let's get to learning, right? The Rhino Army is ready to learn. They got their fatigues on, they got their boots on, they got their weapons ready to go. So we'll start at 1A, and that is learning things about the bike, because you can't have a motorcycle doing one thing, working one way, and then have a mechanism which is you doing something opposite from that. Then you're always going to be behind what the bike is doing, or you're always going to be making your mistakes into crashes, or you're going to learn how to be hesitant because it's just not feeling right, it's not feeling smooth, it's not having a flow. Now, I could have Ken Roxon's factory bike here, but if I had tires that were 4 years old with no knobbies, I could ride a stock bike faster. So the first point of contact is so important, and where that first point of contact is even more important. The highest point of this motorcycle is a cable. You get what I'm saying? So that's the same thing as that we need to do with the body. So if you turned around and you look at a tree, the tree is only as strong as the root system allows it to be. Then you have your movement stability in the middle of the trunk. Then at the top, the limbs, they have to be loose because they have to withstand whatever direction that wind is coming from. So the body kind of needs to be the same as this motorcycle is the same. All the weight's down low, and the highest point is this cable. The more weight you put up high, the more this bike is going to be harder to control and sometimes actually even ride you. These are the foot pegs closest to the rear wheel, where all your horsepower, your traction, and 90% of your crashes come from, because it's controlling 90% of the motorcycle, which is from the head tube to the rear fender. That's the most important thing. You don't want to control the motorcycle at the highest point possible, furthest away from the rear wheel. That has no control of the rear wheel. As you see, I'm turning my handlebars, but this back end isn't doing anything. We need to have that separation to make this bike work properly. So that is the first tip of what I see is how the bike is designed. Where did these manufacturers put the weight and why? And so if I'm going to ride this motorcycle, then I need to follow that and figure out that everything comes from your foundation. And when you're talking about the body, the foundation is your feet. First point of contact. That's where you want to be very concerned about what you're doing with them. So there hasn't really been anybody talking about what you do with your feet, or even feet in motocross, but in motocross, feet are so important because you can control the bike so much with that. As you see, any sport, every sport on earth is done from the balls of your feet, not done flat-footed. The only thing that you do flat-footed is watch people play sports and this and that. So this is where we need to get to the point of allowing the body to be very efficient, how it's been designed to work, and match this motorcycle of how it's been designed to be ridden. So that's the first key that I look at, is where the weight's at and where am I going to control the motorcycle, and that's at the foot pegs to this rear wheel, which we'll get to technique down the road.